rare disease caused by the gram-positive rod-shaped bacteria Clostridium botulinum that targets the central nervous system. It can cause mass death in livestock, and if humans consume the meat, it can cause infection in them. It is extremely rare, as there are only between 10 and 30 human outbreaks every year. Clostridium botulinum are found in soil and untreated water around the world. They are most pathogenic when entering the body as a spore. Once the spore germinates, it produces one of the most lethal toxins known to man. Clostridium botulinum is an anaerobic bacteria. So, in order for the cell to form an endospore, it must be in an environment with low oxygen, low acidity, low sugar, and low salt. Some examples of this environment include home canned food, but recently they have been found in unrefrigerated salsa, garlic, and honey. It is an exotoxin, meaning this bacteria releases a toxin that targets internal organs and causes organ failure. It also causes flaccid paralysis. This bacteria is widespread in soil where vegetables grow and where livestock is raised. Once the bacteria enters a harsh environment, it develops a spore that is extremely toxic and resilient. It is never transmitted from person to person. Small amounts of the toxin are extremely lethal. Many times it cannot be seen that the endospore is released into the environment, as it is a microscopic organism. Furthermore, the toxin can be fatal in extremely small amounts. The median toxic dose is 0.03 micrograms per kilogram in body weight. The botulinum toxin travels to the circulatory system and binds with neurotransmitter junctions in the skeletal muscles. The toxin prevents the neurotransmitters from releasing acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter that is responsible for the contraction of muscles. This results in muscle paralysis. Not only does botulism affect your voluntary muscles, but also involuntary muscles. Smooth and cardiac. It targets the muscles of the eyes, causing double vision and drooping eyelids, the muscles of the tongue, causing difficulty swallowing, slurred speech, and a thick feeling tongue, muscles of the lungs and heart, causing respiratory arrest and difficulty breathing. The inability for the cardiac and lung muscles to contract often results in death. It takes about 12 to 36 hours for the first symptom to occur. Since the bacteria thrives in anaerobic environments, once in its desired environment, the endospore will germinate and then begin to colonize the intestines. The first photo demonstrates the relationship between the neurotransmitter and the muscle. Can you switch to the next slide, please? The second photo demonstrates how acetylcholine is released into the cell, which ultimately causes muscles to contract. The third photo shows how the botulinum toxin inhibits the release of acetylcholine. This photo is of a 2-year-old with botulism. He is experiencing something called flaccid paralysis, which causes the muscles to shrink and become flabby. In infant botulism, this is known as floppy baby syndrome. Reiterating what I said before, botulism is an exotoxin and it is extremely potent. It is estimated that 14 ounces of botulism could kill the entire world population. So these are examples of cultures. Culture A is Columbia blood agar, culture B is egg yolk agar, and culture C is a gram stain result, and it's gram positive because of the purple color. Doctors will commonly look for signs of muscle weakness, such as drooping eyelids, or looking for signs of facial paralysis. They will also ask what foods you have consumed within the past 36 hours. Again, this is because the foodborne botulism is caused by consuming contaminated foods. Doctors may also take stool or blood samples to confirm botulism has infected them, but these tests take many days to complete, and by the time that it is too late. Doctors primarily rely on physical exam to diagnose botulism. Doctors may induce vomiting or bowel movements in patients exhibiting symptoms. If caught in later stages, breathing tubes or breathing machines may be helpful. Patients who catch botulism early may be given the antitoxin, which will reduce the risk of complication of botulism. The endospore can be resistant to thousands of degrees of heat and pressure. It can survive with no source of food or carbon for years. The toxin the endospore produces is not. Reheating food with the infected toxin in it will kill the toxin and render the endospore non-pathogenic.